Hello, students. How are you today? I'm okay. Well, here in Halloween Town, it's almost the holiday of Halloween. So I thought it would be a good idea to make a Halloween drawing from one of my favorite movies, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Today we will draw one of the characters from that very famous movie. So hold on, here we go. All right, so the first thing I want to do is let you know that I'll be drawing with a pen. You should probably use a pencil because using a pencil, it's much easier to erase any mistakes you may make. So let's hope I don't make any, huh? Okay, so our character is going to have a fairly large head. So I'm going to start here, almost at the top of the paper. Some characters have big hair, or a hat, or horns, and if they do, you should start lower so you have room for these things. But this character, fortunately, doesn't have any of those things. So I'm going to start by making kind of a potato-shaped circle. So yes, this character has a potato head. Here we go. Oh yes, that's just what I wanted. Now I'm going to draw his two eyes. So when I do, I'm going to make them in the shape of eggs, but the eggs will be leaning slightly. So I'm going to start here and make kind of an egg shape. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, that's kind of what I want. Now I can color these in. I will color these in. But probably if you're working with a pencil, it would be better to wait until you start to color your drawing. Anyway, I'm going to give this character kind of these shapes under his eyes. And I'm going to make kind of an upside down and backwards comma shape. Or maybe you call that a number 9. Or maybe it's an upside down 6. I don't know. But that's his little nose that he can breathe out of. Okay, so next we're going to make his smile. And he has quite a complex smile, meaning that it's a wavy line. But we don't want to be too wavy. Too wavy, we end up with something more similar to a zigzag line. And we don't want a zigzag line. We want a slightly wavy line. So we'll start about here, all the way on the side. Usually when we make a smile, we just make it under the eyes. But this one is quite wide, disturbingly so. So we're going to start all the way to the left side. And we'll go down and up and down and up. Ready? Here we go. Down and up and down and up. Just like that. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Now, this character, by the way, if you haven't noticed, the character is going to be Jack Skellington. And he's the main character of the movie The Nightmare Before Christmas. Now, you don't want to put too many stitches. That will be enough. 12, 15, no more than that. So you want to stitch them up there really good. So, believe it or not, this is probably the hardest part, is to get his head in there. So, hold on. We'll be back in a minute. Ooh, we're back. Say what you will about Jack Skellington, but he was probably the snappiest dresser in all of Halloween Town. He was a very snappy dresser. And he wore a bow tie and a kind of tuxedo. Only bow ties in Halloween Town are in the shape of bat wings. So we need to make some bat wings. Kind of like a W or an M, depending on how you're looking at it. See how that could be an M or a W? So we want to make one big one, one little one, and then sort of let them connect. Yeah, something like that. And then from here, we'll make sort of another diamond. Or not a diamond, but a triangle. And that's going to be the collar of his shirt. So we'll do, or his jacket, I should say. We'll do something like that. Just kind of make it come out square and make a 90 degree, and then kind of looks like V's there if you look at them. Right. So we won't color this part, but we will color this one. So let's do that, and I'll be right back. Ho, ho, ho! Our Jack Skellington is coming along. It looks really good. Now we should sort of make Jack's body. And it's not as hard as it sounds. We just kind of find one of these bat wings, like here, and sort of find where the shoulder would be. And wherever the shoulder would be, we just kind of make a line downward. Something like that. And then come over here and do the same thing again. And it's kind of a rounded shape, almost like a bottle. Yeah. Ooh, I better move it up. Let me zoom out a little bit. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. Good, that's good. So, now we're going to make kind of a upside down V shape. And you can see the point here and the point here. It kind of makes a center line. And that's what we want to go for here. So we want to kind of start here and we'll leave a space in between. This will be where his ankles and feet will be. So kind of do a number like that. Kind of a rounded point, upside down V line, if that makes sense. And then from there, we're going to kind of make sort of a U line. And these will, of course, be his feet. Yeah. And just like that, we've got his body done. These places where we join the U line, we can make kind of a half circle. And that will show the cuff of his pants. And here, we'll make another upside down V, only this one will be pointed, and it looks like somebody maybe stretched it out. They took a V and stretched it out. So we'll start right on the edge and kind of draw a rounded line up to here, and then come down here and do the same thing again. And that's going to be his jacket. Here will be his pants. Yeah. Now we're sort of wondering where his arms are, so we kind of will make a backwards J. And we'll make another J here. And then sort of make that semicircle line again. Now really, technically speaking, we're done. But we would want to probably color his shoes black, and then to make it more exciting, we should add pinstripes to his suit. So we're going to be back in just a minute to make the pinstripes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, so we have to pinstripe. We don't have to. we could just leave it alone and it'd be okay. Or you could color it different colors if you wanted to do that. But in the movie, he had kind of pinstripes. And we can't exactly do what he had in the movie, but we're going to come up with something pretty cool. We're going to make kind of horizontal pinstripes on his collar and his sleeves. But we're going to make vertical pinstripes on the rest of his suit. And to be even more fun, we're going to make them gray. So we could make them black with a black pen, but I think gray would be kind of fun for this. So I'm just marking his sleeves and his collar in no particular order. Just trying to have a little fun. And it's coming along pretty good. Yeah, like that. And then to make them on the rest of his body, I'm going to kind of make them in a vertical fashion. So I'm just going to go straight up and down, over and over. And I'm going to draw them from his jacket straight over his pants. For some reason it works, which I think is kind of funny. Probably don't want to draw over your marker lines if you can help it. Yeah. Something like that. It's kind of fun, isn't it? Yeah. And just like that, our Jack Skellington is done. I think if I wanted to, I could go ahead and make a background with shadows or tombstones or monsters or even other characters from the movie. So, I hope you had fun. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Ooh, bye-bye.